Welcome learners. In our previous session, we discussed some aspects of general operation and maintenance practices for substation equipment. I am Dr. Rakhi Sharma from School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University. So learners, let's see the learning objective of this session. So after going through this session, you will be able to describe about the general operation and maintenance practices for distribution lines, then understand the work permit or permit to work system, then describe the hotline maintenance technique and tools, and discuss length of LT lines, HT-LT ratio, and impact on losses and voltages. Let us begin this session with the maintenance of line. So pre-monsoon inspection of all the 66 kV, 33 kV and 11 kV lines should be completed between January and March every year after obtaining due approvals for pre-arranged shutdowns for the entire program. So the staff responsible for the pre-monsoon inspection should carry all the necessary equipment such as ropes, petroleum jelly, cotton waste, and sufficient O&M materials like insulators, disc, nuts for the pins, binding wire. All these are the equipment which is necessary, and the staff should carry these necessary equipment. In the routine maintenance practices of lines, all the tree clearances are done and all the minor defects like damaged insulator, improper pin binding are rectified during the inspection itself. Then loose jumpering and loose stays are rectified during the inspection itself. All the insulator are cleaned and all AB switches are lubricated and defective blades are replaced. So the defects that may take considerable time for rectification are noted down and attended within the next 1 week. For example, insertion of poles, then replacement of damaged conductors, replacements of damaged supports, etc. Periodical patrolling of 66 kV, 33 kV and 11 kV lines has to be done on a monthly basis. And the patrolling is done whenever the line trips on fault and then suspected defects are rectified. One of the major precautions to be kept in mind by maintenance staff is to take the permit to work or line clear to work on distribution lines. So what is this work permit or permit to work system? So work permit or permit to work system makes the work method foolproof. There are examples of jobs needing the work permit. What are these? So those requiring employees to enter and work in confined spaces to repair, maintain or inspect electrical installations or to use a large or complex equipment. So they're needing the work permits. So these kind of jobs required work permit. A work permit is to work system is a document. So this is a document which sets out the work to be done, the precautions to be taken for all foreseeable hazards involved, and it records the state of equipment when handed over, while it does not itself makes the job safe. So learners, Indian electricity rule framed under the Indian Electricity Act 2003, Rule 36, handling the electric supply lines and apparatus required authorization to be obtained before working on any line or apparatus. So what are the various types of permits? Depending on the job, any one of these type of permits may be used, like a work permit for hot and cold jobs, vessel entry permits, excavation permits, work at height above 2 meters, even for that also, the electrical work permit on electrical distribution system. So these are the different types of permits, which depends upon the job. Then electrical permit process. What is this? You know that working with electricity can be dangerous. So the people who are working with electricity, they can work directly or indirectly, or work with electricity indirectly. They may expose to electrical hazards. Engineers, electricians and other professionals work with electricity directly, including working on overhead lines, circuit assemblies or cable harnesses, and other such as the office workers, that salespeople, they work with electricity indirectly and may also be exposed to the electrical hazards. Workers in electrical power industry are potentially exposed to a variety of serious hazards, such as arc flashes, which include arc flash, burn and blast hazards, electric shocks, falls and thermal burns hazards that can cause injury and death. For all electrical isolation and energization of high tension lines and equipment, or electrical isolation and energization of LT line and equipment, permit shall be taken depending on the case. Similarly, permit to work on high tension line and equipment or permit to work on low tension line and equipment shall be taken by user department depending on the case. So clearance certificate shall also be taken as the case may be. Electrical equipment should be properly isolated and grounded. However, in a manned grid substation, this activity will be carried out by the concerned grid operation staff, and the permit holder in this case has to confirm the same before starting the job. Permits for work shall be applied by an authorized person to take line clear and shall be issued by an engineer or competent person in charge of operation in writing in the form prescribed. No line or equipment should be made again live until the permit issued on it is returned. That means one has to return the permit also. A separate this permit format shall be used for the jobs of long duration, especially more than 3 days, that fall under the category of electrical work. Additionally, the permit holder has to ensure that necessary precautions should be taken so that the concerned equipment is not energized by any normal switching operation. The same person who takes the permit should return the permit. Now, what are the information which are required to be incorporated in the work permit? For this, you may also refer National Council of Safety Guidelines. So here some of the informations are names of workers, exact work location, then what work to be done, then date and time the work is to be start and end, then identified hazard, it has to be mentioned, then preparatory requirements such as testing, equipment and machinery to be shut down, lockdown, ventilation, etc. Then correct sequence of the procedure, the personal protective equipment required. So these informations need to be incorporated in the work permit. And others are emergency equipment needed, a telephone number to call for help, and where the nearest phone is located, the signature of authorized person, signature of workers to indicate that they understand the hazards involved, know the precautions, then date and time the permit is issued. So these all are the requirements for the work permit, and they need to be incorporated in the work permit. So no matter how well designed the work permit system, it will only succeed if the staff are aware and it exists and understand how to comply with it. So detailed guidelines are also available with the National Council of Safety India. So if we summarize this work to permit, so we can say that work permit system offers one of the best methods to meet various conditions required for making the hazardous operation safe and easy to perform, and safety precautions to be taken during the work. So in India, for more guidelines, you may refer the available guidelines with the National Council of Safety India. Line clear can be issued or received over the telephone also, but for this it is desirable that issuer or receiver recognize each other's voice. The requisition for the line clear and the line clear issue message are repeated by the both the parties to ensure that the line clear are issued or received on the equipment on which it is intended. For this process, a secret code number is followed in such cases. Now, nonetheless, we will see what is hotline maintenance. The work performed on transmission and distribution lines while they are energized and in service is called the hotline maintenance. So all types of tools mounted on insulated pole used to maintain energized high voltage lines and other safety equipment. These are hotline tools, insulated disconnect switch, wire holding stick, auxiliary arm, cross arm mount, pole mount, then wire tongue, saddles, then flexible line hose and hoist link stick are some of the hotline tools in use. When working with energized power lines, a lineman must use protection to eliminate any contact with the energized line. Some distribution level voltages can be worked using rubber gloves. The limit of how high the voltage can be worked using the rubber gloves varies from company to company according to the different safety standards and local laws. Voltages higher than those which can be worked using the gloves are worked with special stick known as hotline tools, with which power lines can be safely handled from a distance. Our aim is to handle the power line safely from the distance. So linemen must also wear special rubber insulating gear when working with the live wires to protect against any accidental contacts with the wire. Bucket from which linemen sometimes work are also insulated using the rubber. For high voltage and extra high voltage transmission lines, especially trained personnel use so-called live line techniques to allow hands-on contact with energized equipment. In this case, the worker is electrically connected to the high voltage line so that he is at the same electrical potential, and the lineman wears special conductive clothing which is connected to the live power line at a instant such that the line and the lineman are at the same potential, allowing the lineman to handle the wire safely. Since training for such operation is lengthy and still presents a danger to personnel, only very important of transmission lines are objects of the live line maintenance practices. Now we see length of LT line or importance of this HT to LT ratio and impact on the losses and voltage. How this ratio can impact the losses and voltage. So learners, in distribution system, two main distribution network lines, primary distribution lines and secondary distribution lines. Primary distribution lines, 33 kV, 22 kV, 11 kV, which feed the distribution transformer and HT consumers. And secondary distribution lines, 415 volt or 400 volt from distribution transformer, other secondary side of the distribution transformer, which feed the low voltage distribution networks, last link connecting the consumers. So the ratio of primary line length to its concerned secondary distribution line length is one of the important factors that influence the performance of the distribution system. Now, over the years, large-scale expansion of urban system and rural electrification program in the country has resulted in considerably expansion of low-tension distribution network. So the size of distribution transformers has been constantly increasing to meet the increasing demand due to the load growth. So as a result, the length of the LT lines per circuit is also increasing, resulting in high losses in the LT lines. That means if the length of the LT lines is more, that means that there will be the high losses. We have already discussed all these things in our previous sessions. Then excessive voltage drop will be there if there are high losses. So frequent faults on the LT network and higher rate of failure of distribution transformers will happen. So this has also resulted in a very large length of the LT lines as compared to the high tension lines, resulting in high LT to HT ratio. So the ratio of LT to HT line is in our country has been of the order of 3. This results in high losses and low voltage at the consumer end. So what are the impact of increasing the high tension lines? So increasing the high tension line can help in reducing both the losses and the voltage drop. So reduction in the line losses, if we increase the high tension lines or length of the high tension line is increased, that means by this we can reduce the line losses. So in the low voltage distribution system, supply at low voltage will with long LT lines using smaller conductor sizes causes high line losses. However, the loss in high voltage system for the distribution of the same power is less than 1% of LV system. Hence, with LV system, the total energy losses are considerably reduced. So next impact of the increasing the high tension line is a reduction in the voltage drops. So when the losses are less with the high voltage line, then the voltage drops will also be less. So voltage drop in low voltage lines is very high as the lines are long and have smaller conductor size. In low voltage distribution system, the voltage drop for the distribution of same quantum of the power is less than 1% as against that in low voltage distribution system. This ensures proper voltage profile in the consumer end. What is our aim? Our aim is to maintain the voltage profile at consumer end. So this can be obtained with this. All other parameters like load factor, power factor, etc. remaining the same, the percentage losses in the system having higher LT to HT will be higher in a system having lower LT to HT ratio. A ratio of 1 to 1.2 would be very beneficial for power distribution. As this measure is must to improve the efficiency and voltage regulation of the distribution, additional capital investment should not come in the way. So learners, in this session we have discussed the general operation and maintenance practices for distribution lines. We discussed what is a work permit or permit to work system. We described hotline maintenance techniques and tools, and also discussed the HT to LT ratio and impact of long LT line HT lines on the losses and voltage, how the voltage profile can be maintained with the high voltages, with the high tension lines. So in the next session we will come up with new topic of this course. Thank you and happy learning.